Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Zvangres Esi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Zvangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम सिखो भगवद गीता, प्रेम सिखो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय, श्री श्री गौनीताई की जय, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदी, all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to the Son of devotees, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasabhutade, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauramani Pacharine, Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Devatarine. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Avatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 8th chapter, entitled Dhruva Maharaj leaves home and go to the forest. Shloka number 27. Narada Uvacha Na Adhuna Api Avamanam Te Sammanam Va Api Putraka Lakshayamaha Kumarasya Saktasya Kridanadishu. Narada Uvacha Nadunnapyavamanam te Sammanam vapi putraka Lakshayama Kumarasya Saktasya Kridanadishu. Narada Uvacha Nadunapyavamanam te Sammanam vapi putraka lakshayama kumarasya saktasya kridanadishu narada uvacha nadunapyavamanam te sammanam vapi putraka lakshayama kumarasya saktasya kridanadishu. Narada Uvacha, the great sage Narada said, Na, not, adhuna, just now, api, although, avamanam, insult, te, unto you, sammanam, offering respects, va, or, api, certainly, putraka, my dear boy, lakshayamaha, I can see, kumarasya, or boys like you, saktasya, being attached, kridana adishu, to sports and frivolities. Translation: the great sage Narada told Dhruva, my dear boy, you are only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by words insulting your honor? Please repeat. The great sage Narada told Dhruva, my dear boy, you are only a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so affected by words insulting your honor? Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki Jai. Purport: ordinarily, if a child is rebuked as a rascal or fool, he smiles and does not take such insulting words very seriously. Similarly, if words of honor are offered, he does not appreciate them. But in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, the Kshatriya spirit was so strong that he could not tolerate a slight insult from his stepmother, which injured his Kshatriya prestige. End of purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Sri Radha Krishna Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Paramami Haripriye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading this Dhruva Maharaj story from the very beginning. There are two small children in the Srimad Bhagavatam that is very famous. Dhruva Maharaj and then Prahlad Maharaj in the seventh skanda. That will be also described very elaborately. So these two children are an example of Krishna consciousness, how even as a small child, one can develop Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada encouraged all the children to participate in the Krishna consciousness movement. Even from the young age of 2, he was requesting one of his disciples. He had one boy, 2 years old. So he told the father, you send that boy to Gurukul, New Vrindavan, for education. So Kaumara Charit Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatamiha. Prahlad Maharaj says to his schoolmates that from the age of 5, Kaumara means starting by the age of 5, one should take up Krishna consciousness. Kaumara Charit Pragya Dharman Bhagavatamiha. Because this human form of life is most sacred, most important, and no time should be wasted in other pursuits except for development of Krishna consciousness or love of Krishna. So that is the whole program of human life. So here the story of Dhruva Maharaj is taking on a different platform, as described earlier, that Dhruva Maharaj was the son of Maharaj Uttanapad and the grandson of Shambhuva Manu. So from some illustrious family at the beginning of the day of Brahma. And the family is naturally endowed with the Kshatriya spirit, because at that time it was necessary for the children of Lord Brahma to have, some of them were Brahmana rishis and some of them were Kshatriyas. So the family of Dhruva was certainly having this Kshatriya spirit, and he was from the beginning of his life involved in this type of education, in the footsteps of his parents and other relatives. So, as described earlier, Dhruva Maharaj was insulted by his father. He wanted to sit on the lap of his father, as a young boy would like to do. But his another boy was there, Uttama, who was the son of a co-wife. His mother was Suniti, and another wife was Suruchi. So these two wives were also in competition with each other. And so Dhruva Maharaj was refused by his father as well as by his stepmother to sit on the lap of his father, Maharaj Uttanapad. And so, as described earlier, Suruchi told him that if you are fortunate enough by the grace of Lord Narayana, you may again take birth in your next life. If you take birth from my womb, then you may have a share in the kingdom. Otherwise, no, it is not possible for you. So in this way, he was insulted, and he took advice also from his mother, Suniti. And Suniti also gave him the advice that you take blessings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then only all your desires will be fulfilled. So he got this advice, and he had the determination to leave home. And so, even though a young boy, now he left home and very angry against his stepmother and father and his stepbrother, poor brother. So in this way, he left in a huff. And fortunately for him, Narada Muni could see the situation. And Narada Muni was very much surprised that how such a young boy can be so much affected by some harsh words from his parents. This is generally not the case. As here, Narada Muni says that how wonderful, no, this is, my dear boy, you are just a little boy whose attachment is to sports and other frivolities. Why are you so much affected by words insulting your honor? So Narada Muni was surprised, at least according to this description. Of course, Narada Muni knows also what's going to happen in the future, and he knows the past. He knows Dhruva Maharaj very well, so he can understand the entire situation, and out of his causeless mercy, he is going to give spiritual advice to Dhruva Maharaj, so that in the future, Dhruva Maharaj will be a great king and very great asset in the family of Maharaj Uttanapad, Swambhuva Manu, and like that. Lord Brahma himself also will be very happy to have such a boy. So the tendency of the boy is surprising, according to Narada Muni's words, that generally young boys or children are not inclined to participate in worldly affairs. Sometimes the elderly members of the family, the parents and other relatives, elderly relatives, they have always discussions, they have some disputes about family affairs. But the children don't participate in these conversations and disputes. I remember that I was also, as a young child, I was every week on Sundays, there was a gathering of elderly members of my mother's family, and they used to take lunch together, and before lunch, after lunch, they used to discuss about family affairs, business activities, and other special functions. But the children, I and all other my cousins and other of the same age, we were not at all interested in these discussions. We had our own activities outside. We are going to the garden, and there was a room only for play. They had some toys and other plays, and all the children were involved in these playthings and running in the garden, playing ball, and so on. So that is the natural tendency, I guess. It's not only myself, but I guess all the children will have the same tendency. And so how this Dhruva is not showing the natural tendency of a child. In the family of a Kshatriya, he is so much absorbed in the Kshatriya spirit that he is also affected by this type of dispute between his mother and stepmother. Why is he involved in that? Why is he so much affected by this type of family affairs? So that is very unusual, and Narada Muni expressed his surprise seeing this boy so much affected in this manner. You are supposed to be attached to sports and other frivolities. So many sports are there, not only for children, but in the modern world, many new sports have come into existence, developed, and Srila Prabhupada sometimes was also very surprised that so many sports are there. And once he was commenting that regarding the sport of golf. What is golf? You have some clubs out there in a bag. You take one club, you hit the ball towards the green. Green means the last portion of the fairway, and you have to throw the ball into the hole. There's a flag indicating where is the hole, so you have to strike the ball in such a way that the ball will go towards the hole. So it's a very elaborate game, and they spend huge amount of money to maintain these golf courses, and people spend a lot of money. I remember I had my own set of golf clubs, which I purchased from London. From France, I went to London because that was a very good place to purchase golf clubs. And I was also involved in this type of activity. So when, including competitions and all that, that is, so when Prabhupada was so seeing this type of golf course and golf activities, he just mentioned that people have so much, they have used their intelligence and imagination to waste time. It is another way of wasting time. So many ways of wasting time are there, and people have so much imagination to devise many ways of wasting time. So Prabhupada noticed this. Why wasting time? Because the time is used for frivolity, sports activity, which make us forget Krishna. It is, as living in the material world is not a pleasant affair. At every moment, every day, we are meeting difficulties, and the sports and frivolities are meant to forget these difficulties of life in an artificial manner. Whereas the real way of forgetting the material world is through Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada was very surprised also that people are so much addicted to all these sports activities. And this is simply a waste of time, considering that the objective of human life is only to develop Krishna consciousness. And this is taking us away from that. All these sports and competitions and all that, the children are so much involved, and even adolescents. And this is occupying a lot of our time in life. And just considering the manufacture of toys for children, it is a billion rupees business throughout the world, manufacturers of children toys, so that the children will simply forget the harshness of day-to-day living in the material world and take their mind away and simply entertaining their mind uselessly. So the whole, especially in the modern civilization, that has taken us away from natural living. Natural living means in the countryside, we are in contact with nature, and that will make us remember that there is a creator, there is God. So God consciousness can be naturally developed in the natural surroundings. But in the city, so many things have been invented to take us away from natural life and give us artificial means of entertainment. So Narada Muni said, anyway, it is natural for children to be involved in these sports and frivolities. But this boy, Dhruva, is different. He is showing a different nature, so which generally at that young age is not showing. I wanted just to quote from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, how these different tendencies are natural also. Lord Krishna says that Brahmana Kshatriya Visam Sudranam Cha Parantapa Karmani Bhaktani Swabhava Prabhavair Gunahi. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures, in accordance with the material modes or chastiser of the enemy. So the four classes of human beings are natural. Prabhupada used to say also that these four classes can be found anywhere in the world. These are natural tendencies. And this is by the law of nature, according to the divisions of gunas. The Brahmanas are in the Sattva gun, the Kshatriyas in the Rajagun, and the Vaishya community under mixed modes of Tamas and Rajas, and Sudras are in the mode of Tamas. Now, according to the division of gunas, there are 3 gunas and 4 classes of men that are, according to the influence of these 3 gunas, these tendencies of varna will be manifested in all human beings. So even if they are not, people may not be educated in these lines, but a natural tendency is there according to the gunas. So according to then in the 18th chapter, 43rd sloka, regarding Kshatriya spirit, Lord Krishna says that Sauryam Tejo Dhritya Daksham Yuddhe Chapya Parayanam Dhanam Iswara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work, for the Kshatriyas. So although it is part of nature, and these are inbuilt in every human being, these different tendencies according to modes of nature, but it needs also to be channeled, or it needs some education according to the principles of Vedic society. So Srila Prabhupada also was very much eager to establish the four varnas and ashramas in the general society. That would be the very good basis to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the entire society. So the Kshatriya spirit is characterized by these qualities. And here, in this example of Dhruva Maharaj, we see that the Kshatriya spirit is represented by his Ishvara Bhava. That means that leadership quality. He wants to be a leader. He has some ego, that he is from a great family, and he is a son of a great parents, and he is destined to have a great future, to be a great leader, great king. That is his future. He has meditated. He wants to pursue that in his life, even though he's so young. But he got that tendency very strongly. So when he was insulted by his father, then he could not tolerate that I'm a leader, I'm Ishvara Bhav, no? I'm great, I'm supposed to be a king, or I'm going to become king. And how you can speak to me like this? And how my stepmother is treating me like, insulting me like this? I have to take birth again from her womb. That is complete nonsense. So he became very angry immediately. So in this way, his Kshatriya nature became insulted. He could not tolerate it. That is a mark of Kshatriya. Kshatriyas, if they are real, to their nature, they will not tolerate. Whereas the Brahmanas are very much equiposed, calm, they don't like to fight against anybody. They tolerate the vicissitudes of life, the ups and downs. They have this natural quality of peace of mind and not fighting against anybody, tolerating these ups and downs, dualities of life. So they are closer to the state of self-realization. Being in Sattva Gun, for them it is easy to come to the higher stage of spiritual life. But the Kshatriyas, they are very much involved in material affairs because of their attachment to their position, belongings, and high family, and so on. So there is a very interesting, in the Mahabharata, this type of spirit is also discussed. And even among the Pandavas, to take the example of the Pandavas had different natures, even though, of course, they are from Kshatriya families. But they also show the different tendencies. So the general tendency for Kshatriya to be a Kshatriya, but it is not that equally manifested in all of them. And this is very nicely seen in the five Pandavas: Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev, five Pandavas, and then even the wife also, Draupadi, also from a Kshatriya family. So we can see that they have also different ideas. And this became very interesting to see that in the confrontation with the Kauravas, the sons of Dhritarashtra, so this rivalry between the two families, Kauravas and Pandavas, it showed the different tendencies, especially in the Pandavas. Yudhishthir is supposed to be a Kshatriya, but when he participated in this gambling match. Of course, a Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse any challenge. So he also accepted the challenge. I'm a Kshatriya, so anyway, let us see what's going to happen. And they were defeated in the gambling match because of the tricks of Sakuni. The Pandavas lost their kingdom, they lost everything, all their properties, and the wife also was lost even in the gambling match. So they lost everything. And Yudhishthira Maharaj then, along with the Pandavas, were forced to accept the conclusion of this gambling match, that is to go into exile for 13 years, 12 years, and 1 year Agyatavas. Fortunately, they took also Draupadi along with them. But when they left Hastinapur, they started their journey. At that time, then, this discussion between the Pandavas was very interesting, that Bhima he was very angry, very upset, and immediately wanted to go back to Indraprastha and fight against the Kauravas. He said, I'm ready to kill all of them. I can do that. Let us go. Let us go back. Why should we go to the forest? We are Kshatriyas. We are not supposed to live in the forest. We have our own palace. We have our own property. We have our own kingdom. And we have our rightful share. What is this gambling match? It has no, we have to go back and fight against immediately and kill all these Kauravas. Yudhishthira Maharaj was hearing this, and he was, why you are speaking like this? Already we promised to them that for 13 years, all right, we have lost the match. For 13 years, we have promised we'll go to the forest. We cannot break our promise. That our we are Kshatriyas, we must, whatever we have promised, we have to follow. That is our Kshatriya dharma. Why you want to break your promise and immediately go and fight like this? What's going to happen? How can you fight against these 100 brothers and others? Others also will join the Kauravas. They have so many friends. How can you fight? Now we are bereft of our friends and allies. They will all join the Kauravas. No, this is not why you are talking like this. Don't talk like this. Only 13 years. What is this? Not big affair. We'll peacefully go and we'll continue in this way. Then we'll come back to Hastinapur afterwards. That is not difficult. And our fate is like that. Why we are in this condition? This is our own past karma. Now, why do you want to, why you are so upset about that? Whatever the reactions of your past karma, Now we are together, so we are taking the result of our past activities. That is the natural consequences of our past karma. Why should we revolt? Why should we fight against our brothers, the Kauravas? That is not proper. So Yudhishthira and Bhima have two opposite natures. Bhima is showing his very great Kshatriya tendency, Ishvara Bhav, whereas Yudhishthira is more inclined towards Brahminical qualities, even though they belong to the same family, having the same mother. Of course, the father is little different, but they are from Kshatriya family, exhibiting different tendencies. And Arjuna, he is very much balanced in his nature. He is showing very great qualities of compassion and forgiveness also, but forgiveness has to be given according to circumstances. The point is that certainly a Kshatriya should be forgiving. So does it mean that they should forgive the Kauravas? These tricks of Sakuni and Duryodhana and the attempts to their lives, now putting this house of lac in fire and trying to kill Bhima, sending him in the waters and so on, all these tricks. Should we forgive the Kauravas? Forgiveness is there. There's equality, but there should be some discrimination. Not that we should forgive everyone, even those are so much demoniac, like Duryodhana. No, we should not forgive those who are showing these demoniac tendencies. They are very dangerous. We should forgive those who are innocent. Innocently, somebody has made a mistake, we forgive. Without proper knowledge, he has made a mistake. Yes, we should forgive. For the first time, somebody has made a mistake. Yes, we forgive. But then, if it is second time, third time, and if with some crooked intention, evil intention, no, we cannot forgive. So that is, there was a dialogue between Bali Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is asking from his grandfather that forgiveness is a very good quality, but sometimes it is seen that forgiveness has adverse results. So please, can you tell me, when should we forgive others and when maybe we should not forgive others? So Prahlad Maharaj gave this instruction that I was just telling now about the quality of forgiveness that should be extended to others with discrimination. So Kshatriya certainly can forgive, but in this case here, there is no question. Bhima and even Sahadev, they don't intend to forgive the Kauravas. And that is also even Lord Krishna. Later on, of course, he will arrange the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra so that these demons will be killed. Many hundreds of millions were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as arranged by Lord Krishna. So here Narada Muni is a great Muni, and naturally he has the saintly qualities, peacefulness, equanimity of mind. Even somebody insults, no problem. Somebody flatters, doesn't matter. We don't pay attention to flattery or to insults. Narada Muni is completely engrossed in Krishna consciousness. Doesn't pay attention to the ups and downs He travels, he goes to hell, goes to heaven, meets all people. So his nature is completely transcendental. When Srila Prabhupada also exhibited these spiritual qualities of transcendental realization, that sometimes, of course, his disciples were flattering him or praising him. Prabhupada was giving all praises to his Guru Maharaj, not taking for himself. I don't deserve any praise for myself. Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to execute the mission of my spiritual master. And if outsiders were insulting Prabhupada, or why you are taking away our children, why you are indulging in brainwashing, kidnapping, and so on, Prabhupada was traveling, constantly traveling to avoid this type of parents, so avoiding them. And when there was a court case insulting our ISKCON movement, Prabhupada gave the right advice to win over the judges, giving them the positive appreciation of ISKCON by great scholars, and all Prabhupada's books were given to the judges. So insult, Prabhupada also could avoid them and could pacify everybody very nicely. So this is the great saintly person like Narada Muni or Srila Prabhupada, how they are dealing with insults and praises. Whereas this small boy, Dhruva Maharaj, could not do this because he has not been trained. He is simply manifesting a very rough Kshatriya tendency. So anyway, he will now, Narada Muni has come, and under the influence of Narada Muni, under the teachings of Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj will be able to correct himself, and he will have the darshan of Lord Vishnu. And ultimately, he'll be a very great king by the blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is exhibiting saintly quality as well as Kshatriya qualities, and that his future will be as a great emperor for the entire world. He'll be the master or the king in Dhruvaloka. So that will be for the next continuations. Any other questions or comments? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.